Let's get together to co-create a breakthrough for freedom of energy, sustenance, healing, and regeneration of the human vessel. Welcome to FESIG, the Free Energy Special Interest Group, where science meets spirituality in the quest for truth and knowledge to free humanity and transform this planet into a paradise. Hi everyone, welcome to FESIG. This is FESIG's 75th meeting, and today is the 8th of April 2020. Right, so I'm going to share screen so we can have a look at the agenda today. Just bear with me. All right. Share screen. Well, welcome to FESIG, which is the Free Energy Special Interest Group, and we meet once a month. Every first Wednesday of the month, we meet and we have speakers who are in the the business of developing free energy technologies and healing technologies as well. So we are a platform where science meets spirituality, where scientists, researchers, inventors, developers of free energy technologies gather together to discuss and share ideas and further their development of their prototypes, so we can then succeed in our mission of freeing humanity with these technologies. Now, today's agenda, very quickly here, is we have the first session speaker. Oh, that's me, Crystal Gore, who's the founder of FESIG, and our co-chairs, Fres Frezel, Pontus Hefger, James Ring presumably will be coming in later because I think he's doing a presentation right now elsewhere. Now, the first session speaker is Dr. Frank D Germinal, and his partners, Bill Helton and Todd Livingston, will do a live demonstration. Actually, it's planned that way, that they'll be doing a live demonstration on their patented shaftless Tesla turbine. No wires, energy directly from the vacuum. Their Pyrogen waste to energy systems run on hydrogen. It is revolutionary and it's zero waste. It's really superb. And then once we finish the Q&A session, we have a short little 5-minute breaks, 1-minute break, and then we will come back and adjourn to the next session of the 75th meeting, where FESIG team members will address the global lockdown situation with the COVID-19 pandemic, followed by a special guided group meditation. Once we finish that, then the meeting will adjourn to the 76th FESIG meeting on the 8th of May 2020, with yet to be confirmed speakers at the usual FESIG meeting time of 7:30 British Standard Time. Right, so and if you want to write to me, if you want to recommend a good speaker with technologies that is spot on here with what we're doing here, please write to me, crystal@truevisionofpeace.com, and our website is truevisionofpeace.com/FESIG.html. Thank you. Thank you for choosing to be with us and spending time here to participate in this meeting live. So without much ado, I think I'm going to introduce the speaker right away now, because we had wasted some time earlier because of technical issues from the presenter side, because of the the lockdown situation. I suppose it's a little difficult for people to organize things from the distance far apart with each other and having to do a live presentation. Right, so Dr. Frank D Germinal is indeed a very special person here, because he has I think I hear a noise in the background. Co-chair, would you mute the noise away, please? Dr. Frank D Germinal. Studied Doctor of Engineering, PhD, at Pennsylvania State University, and he lives in Las Vegas. He is an aerospace engineer, scientist, musician, and independent engineering consultant. Research and development of clean energy systems from Nikola Tesla and Victor Schwarberger. He's currently Vice President of Pyrogen Incorporated, former President at Aurora Energy Corporation, former CEO at Global Energy Technologies Incorporated, former President at International Turbine and Power Incorporated, and he's got a website that he puts in a lot of information on Nikola Tesla's work, as well as Victor Schwarberger's. He's got a whole Facebook account full of Victor Schwarberger's work. It's really incredible, Frank. He was such a wonderful researcher and compiler, and I urge all of you to take a look. and Walter
I'm
Russell.
gonna blush.
Frank and his partners, Bill Helton and Todd Livingston, have prepared a live demonstration today, actually showing the newest Tesla turbine. Unfortunately, because of distance and the whole technicalities that is failing us today, they can't turn up to show it. So Frank is trying his level best to get it done himself with our co-chair Pontus calling up the visuals on the screen while he speaks. And Frank will be showing how it's designed, the shaftless Tesla turbine, how it's designed, similarities to Schwarberger's implosion repulsine, and their megawatt units in operation. And their megawatt, oh sorry, I said that already. They will bring in something you've never seen before, folks, totally free energy. They have been working with a group from Phoenix, Arizona, called Z Power, and the president is Reed Hughes, who's supposed to be here as well, but couldn't make it. So they have developed Tesla's radiant energy transceiver and have 5 kilowatts DC power from a box the size of a briefcase. It can be scaled up to any megawatt size, and it's the first free energy system ever witnessed. No wires, energy directly from the vacuum. The Pyrogen waste-to-energy systems run on hydrogen. Any biomass, garbage, municipal sewage, plastics, hay or straw, wood chips, used tires, etc. is fuel. The waste is run through a proprietary plasma arc system. Hydrogen is released and then run through the combustion process, then into the patented shaftless Tesla turbine, which drives a core generator. It is revolutionary, folks. Zero waste. The only output is distilled water. So there you are. Over to you now, Frank. You will put
Sure.
it on. Yeah.
Well, first, thank you for having me. And I'll start by giving a little bit of a background. So about 20 years ago, actually, 1998 and then 2000, we had a desire, and that was to vindicate Nikola Tesla. And Tesla, as you all know now, but let me go back in time to the late 90s. So the internet is just coming about, and no one knows about Tesla. And what was out there was very, very little bits of information. And I had, believe it or not, a music website. And I started compiling by going to the libraries, getting every book that I could, anything, newspaper articles, magazine articles. And what you find now, which everybody takes for granted, but they did not back then, Nikola Tesla was like, the 20th century's first superstar. This man was courted by kings and queens. He was virtually in a newspaper every single week. He's the man that harnessed Niagara Falls, of course, his relationship with Westinghouse, on and on. And we take that information, I should say, for granted now. But back then, he was virtually erased from the history books. Nobody knew what Nikola Tesla had accomplished when they did at the turn of the century, 1900. So I had gone through all this information. I was posting it by hand up on my website. There was literally gigabytes of information on this site on Nikola Tesla. And I noticed one thing. Tesla made a very interesting comment, and that was his turbine was his greatest invention. And I looked at that and I thought, turbine? What turbine? Well, I dug into that, and I find this very simple patented turbine and pump that he had designed, and I wanted to know a little bit more. So my background is engineering, specifically aerospace engineering, but I built my first Tesla turbine, and I do remember it well, 1998. We did it in a speed shop, basically a garage, a car garage, car shop. And we spun it up, and it was like something out of the Blues Brothers. We were behind any type of like guard that we could, so we wouldn't get blown up or anything. We had the goggles on, helmets, and it spun. And it didn't just spin, it spun with very little input from compressed air. Well, now I was hooked, so I slowly formed a company. And within about 1 year, we gained our first major investor. And right now there is it's 50 megawatts in total now, but we installed small 100 kilowatt units running from methane in a landfill down in Sayreville, New Jersey. And that launched the company. And for about a dozen years, we had great success with small Tesla turbines running from propane, was usually the preferred fuel. And we did very well. So now let's bring this a little bit further forward to today. So Tesla had an absolutely amazing invention, and that being the Tesla turbine. Tesla described that turbine as the simplest mechanical transformer yet devised. And Tesla, when he makes a statement, you really have to look at every word that Tesla says, because he's very precise with his English. And it is the simplest mechanical transformer ever designed. Inside of that case is just a series of flat round discs. Under motive power, it's a turbine, i.e. a fluid coming in, acting on the discs, and then exiting. But under power, it becomes a pump. So it's both a pump and a turbine. And through the years of development, we achieved about, on average, 68% efficiency. And then we went a little bit further, and I noticed if there was, call it a deficit in the design, that was the fact that it had a shaft. So a considerable portion, about a third of the active space inside of that case, was wasted on a shaft and then the mounting to the discs. And all that's in there are round discs separated by a space, and then holes in those discs and a shaft. That's all that's in there, one moving part. So through a number of years of trial and error, I eliminated the shaft, and that's actually patented now. But there's no shaft inside of our newest turbine. And I'll have you pull up one of the pictures of the internals of the turbine. And so we call it a shaftless turbine. I started out with a patent on the hollow shaft, but this has gone beyond that. There's no shaft in there. What is moving is a combination of different geometric forms that are mounted to the disc pack rigidly, the internal discs, and that's it. The exhaust is exiting, I should say, right through the center in turbine mode, and in pump mode, it's being drawn in through the center, accelerated by the discs, and then exiting. This has given us right now recorded third-party documentation of an 86% efficiency level. There is no turbine nor pump like that on the planet. So now flash forward a little bit further through International Turbine and Power, Global Energy Technologies, and now Pyrogen. Well, Tesla also had a number of patents. Obviously, we know the Tesla coil. Well, what's the Tesla coil? It's basically a step-up transformer. So a lower voltage will go to extremely high voltage. Well, if you combine that with an anode and cathode, you have a plasma arc. Think of it in terms of welding, positive and negative. The spark in between can reach many thousands of degrees. We took a Tesla coil, amped it up to 240,000 volts, introduced in a small confined area with a ceramic high temperature resistant shell, and we have a plasma arc of about 30,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Therefore, any material, now we use biomass, but it really wouldn't matter if it was rocks or metal, that goes through that 30,000 degree flame front, call it, the high temperature, in a fraction of a second, what comes out the other side is basically reduced to monatomic elements. So therefore, if we have any hydrocarbon, any garbage, sewage, sludge, medical waste, industrial waste, hay, straw, used tires, plastics. They're all reduced to their hydrocarbon in monatomic elements, and we extract the hydrogen. So hydrogen is virtually in what? Everything, hydrocarbons. We take the hydrogen, we ignite it in a combustor. It's injected with water. Imagine that. So we have hydrogen ignited, injected with water, and what drives our Tesla turbine is steam. Low temp condensate steam, which otherwise, I don't know of any turbine that could withstand it, but a Tesla turbine actually prefers it. So the turbine spins and we drive a generator. That generator happens to come from a company called Core. And if you do a little research on them, Core is the premier manufacturer of wind turbines. They have a PCB, so a printed circuit board, and that replaces the traditional wiring in a normal generator. So it makes it much smaller, much more powerful basically in a smaller package. So a Core generator, and then we create electricity. So any waste whatsoever, whether it's on the ocean, cleaning up the oceans, whether it's a landfill, anything, household garbage, your sewerage is fuel. And the output of our entire system can be electricity. It can be a biofuel if we aren't after the electricity. And the only output is distilled water. We can take salt water, doesn't matter, as long as we have a 50% moisture content in the incoming waste. And the output is distilled water, which certain codes demand that before you could use that for drinking water, it has to go through minor processing. So our entire system, whether it's a 250 kilowatt on up into multiple megawatts, is waste free. We've eliminated a problem with landfill waste, garbage, anything, cleanup, and we provide clean drinking water on the output, plus, in essence, free electricity. And that's the essence of the hydrogen or the Pyrogen system. We use hydrogen as fuel. Simple as that, Crystal. Should I go on? So I guess also then too, with a combination of technologies, Victor Schauberger, obviously known as the water wizard. And I love George Schauberger to death. That's Victor's grandson. And with some Schauberger methods, we can take that distilled water and make it into high quality drinking water. Simply by putting water into a vortex does amazing things to it. But with certain additives that Victor identified, you can have truly high quality drinking water. So if possibly Pontus can bring up some pictures and some of our presentation, I can explain it step by step if you like.
I will. Let me see. Ooh. Share screen. You see the picture?
That's perfect. What I can explain there, what you're looking at. So I'll explain that picture. What you're seeing, and I don't mind this being public, again, it is patented, and on this particular one, we have 12 patents pending. That's the heart of our turbine. And if you notice what you see besides the bolts sticking out, so excuse that, that's made completely of carbon fiber, or basalt, I should say. And what you see is the case. Okay, that's our round part there. Inside of that, if you zoom in, which you'll have to do, what you'll see are some veins. They look like hydrofoils. The incoming gas flow hits those veins no different than an airplane wing. So no drag now, and we actually increase, as you'll see, there's several inlets. That's actually our inlets ports now. So Tesla had a design where there was only one inlet. We have it designed so that there's several. There could be 4, there could be 5, there could be 10. In this case, I believe there's 8. And they are geometrically designed to increase the flow of gas, the steam coming in, and direct it towards that mass that you see in the center. Now, in that center there, what you'll see, you'll think that's a shaft. That's not. That's actually our exhaust, or in the pump version, our input. Around that, you'll see this flat, round blob sitting there. That's a disc. Inside this particular disc are over 50 discs. They are just flat, round. They're approximately a 16th of an inch, 0.032 in thickness, a space of about a 16th of an inch, and they go on for 50 layers inside of that unit. Each of those layers is active. So in simple terms, think of, let's say, a fan. So a fan has blades. That surface area is X. Each blade has a certain surface area front and back. What Tesla, and it was brilliant, that disc is think of it as a blade. Well, now you have a round circular object. Both sides of that disc is active. So if you think that a fan can move air or a turbine blade can be spun, now think of how much more surface area on each side of a flat disc has compared to that blade. That is really, besides adhesion and viscosity, Tesla's brilliance. He understood there's only a very small amount of air or steam that would be active when hit or powered, propelled by a blade, a fan blade. Those discs, each side, are active. And let's say you have 50 discs in there. Well, just one disc has more surface area on it than a fan blade. That's logical. Now, if you have 50 of them inside, how much more surface area do you have to act or be reacted upon by the incoming or the moved fluid? Tesla was brilliant, way ahead of anything else. And that's really one of the secrets in what is so unique about a Tesla turbine. There's just a massive amount of surface area to act on or be acted upon by a fluid. And I'm still in awe at how brilliant Tesla was. The only change that we've done, besides those venturis that you see on the outside, so now we have multiple inlets. So there's no different torque curves or forces acting at just one point. They're spread out evenly around the whole circumference. With what you see in the center now, I'll address that. That was my biggest bane. As an engineer, I thought, well, basically heat. Let's put it down to its simplest common denominator. I was having an issue where all the heat was concentrated at where? The most dense point, the shaft. And it would continually heat up until it basically equaled the incoming fluid. And then we'd have issues with bearings. Now, those bearings are very special bearings, but I'll explain more about them in a moment. That shaft, now you'll see closer, is hollow. That is where all of our exhaust gas is going. There's no longer any, if you look at a traditional Tesla turbine, it had cutouts around the shaft. Our exhaust is exiting through that part, the shaft. And, you know, that's, I guess, pretty cool when you think about it. I'm just still in awe at Tesla that I was able to do something as an engineer that improved upon it. And so that one's one there. That's pretty much about it about the turbine. I don't want to bore everybody. And then possibly, I don't know if you want to go into the presentation on Pyrogen itself.
Thank you, Frank. Frank, I thought you have some videos that you want to show us to.
The videos we will have to upload after the fact, and possibly you could include them in on post-production side, only because I still don't have Bill nor Todd, and obviously Reed still hasn't joined in. And apologies there. I think this entire country is in one way or another affected by this coronavirus lockdown.
It's understandable. But I can't do any editing because I don't have the facilities to do it. So I can't do any production. Can we play it now?
Well, I don't have the video with me. What we could do is possibly, as you post, we could post a link to it, and we'll have it from our side where anybody can download the video and view whenever they like.
Yeah, good idea.
Right.
In other words, they'll just click on a link. It'll hyperlink to our Pyrogen website, and they can just download the video or watch online.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because this is a recording, it will go down well if we could just show a bit of some clips of it. You could give the link now. We'll show it now.
Unfortunately, unless Bill joins us, I don't have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I have no videos with me on the phone that I could uplink to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was there another photograph you wanted to show, Frank?
You could go through the Pyrogen presentation if you want, and I can explain
yes,
that.
please. Yeah, that would be good. Does
Sure.
Pontus have the link for the Pyrogen one?
What's that?
Does Pontus have the link for the Pyrogen one so you can?
It wouldn't be there. Bill will have to upload a video, and then that way, possibly in your comments section, they can click on the link. They can see one of the turbines running from our live demonstrations.
Right.
I just texted in some questions.
Come on,
Sure.
Toby. Yeah. We open now for question and answers. Come on.
Yeah, so my question was, what's the operating RPM and the output power, horsepower, and operating temperature?
Sure. Well, it would okay. RPM is really size dependent. So as an example, one of our 20 kilowatt turbines has a 5 1/4 inch disc pack, about the size, actually the same size as a standard CD-ROM. That is going to be spinning at approximately 28,000 RPM under full speed and load. Now, when you go up to one of our megawatt size turbines, we actually have a 32 inch disc pack in there, and that's only spinning around 9,800 RPM. So definitely in some instances, size obviously does affect RPM and load. So let me just give you an example. You see a lot of kids, a lot of wonderful people posting all types of material, even CD-ROMs on YouTube, and they're spinning away. Where it goes from being a YouTube video or backyard tinkering, let's call it, which I highly recommend, anyone can do this stuff. The difference is they aren't under load. So will load affect it? Well, yes, no different than your car. You start climbing a hill, what's happening? More load, and those RPMs are going down somewhat to compensate as more power is needed. With ours, it's no different. So there is, let's say, free spin, which let's say a turbine that's rated to 9,800 RPM under load might be spinning at 14, 15, 16,000 RPM free spinning. So load definitely affects it. The Tesla turbine is not, let's say, like a piston engine, internal combustion engine, whereas RPM up and down. The Tesla turbine wants to run, and it wants to run at whatever its full speed is, which there's actually a mathematical formula for that. It wants to run continuous. So eventually it's going to match the incoming velocity of the fluid. So let's say if you have steam at 285 degrees, maximum velocity, let's say, is 1,200 feet per second. The turbine, after you do the math with the circumference, will want to equate to that RPM. That's just, simple physics, geometry, mathematics. And the Tesla turbine is no different. So where a lot of people had said, oh, the turbine would be great in a car, not going up and down with speed, because even, let's say the turbine reaches its maximum speed. Let's say it's 9,800 RPM. Well, because you have centrifugal force, and now an object in motion wants to stay in motion, it doesn't just slow down because you decrease the fuel to it or the steam. It will slowly come down. So the turbine is a steady speed operating unit. Where it's ideal is when it's connected to an electric generator. So now, if you wanted to use it in automotive, for instance, you'd have the turbo generator with electric motors. And obviously, it would be quite the advantageous operation because you no longer need to stop and recharge. It's always generating its own electricity. And in our case, your fuel would be propane, natural gas. If you wanted to carry waste, you could do that too, but you still need some fuel, which is hydrogen, to break down to hydrogen and oxygen, and steam is ultimate there. So yes, there is a function between the diameter and the RPM.
did you do any finite element analysis on the heat and flow in there?
Well, here's something unique, and I'll go back to one of our earliest times when we built the first 2 or 3 generations of turbine, Alpha, Beta, and Charlie turbines. We had run compressed air, which let's say was at an ambient temperature of 72 degrees, and we're seeing ice chunks coming out the exhaust. Now, it wasn't connected to a generator at this time, it's just free spinning. And at first, what I thought was, oh boy, well, that's where Tesla said mechanical transformer. So what you have 72 degrees temperature coming in, I believe something like 125 PSI, if memory serves. And what was coming out was ice crystals. When Tesla said mechanical transformer, he was exactly right. That was taking the ambient temperature air, let's say 72 degrees, heat, it's transforming, now it's mechanical motion, it's spinning the discs, and it was basically pulling that heat from the air, and what was coming out was nearly frozen air, and that's held true pretty much. If we're running, let's say, with 325 low temp condensate steam, what's coming out is condensate now. Water vapor is coming out. It's used a tremendous amount of that heat energy as extraction. What we found with most of our models in SolidWorks and in practical real-world temperatures, there is about an 80% reduction in the thermal energy coming into what comes out. So it's extracted nearly, well, actually, I can nail that even higher. With our newest generation turbines, we're holding at about 86% efficiencies. So literally 86% of the energy is being extracted and then turned into mechanical motion, i.e. spinning the unit in the shaft.
You talked about the bearings. You had, we're going to go into some comments because, did you say before that the blades were not attached? There was something different about how the
oh,
shaft,
sure.
Shaft was,
yes.
Bearing fits into that shaft was constant.
What we have were first the previous generation, our Echo series. If you can see my hand and those veins that are on the outside as venturis, those same veins now are our shaft. We have completely eliminated the shaft. There is no more shaft. So as the same as our outer venturi ring, now the shaft has been eliminated and those veins are now our exit points as well. So they're adding further impulse at the exiting fluid. What we really found out through dynamic processing, as we did the calculations on the fluid flow, we found that really very little of the disc was active. The rest of it was turning to condensate, and it was actually almost like a parasitic drag effect. So the disc was just there to be the disc. Well, we found that boundary and we adjusted the disc size in proportion to it so that now all of our disc, that's all that's needed. The rest of it, the fluid's done its work. Now we exit it as quickly as possible. In that picture that you had just seen before, that was the shaft, or that was the hollow shaft design, which is a little bit different, where there actually is a tube, let's call it. And in that tube, at least as far as the width of the discs are concerned, are tiny little ports. So instead of the large ports that Tesla had on his discs, our ports are on the shaft. That's the exit point into the hollow shaft and then out.
Okay, so for my trying to visualize this without looking at the drawing, you've got
Sure.
a bearing on each end of that stack.
Correct.
Okay, got it. And
Yep.
then the
Yep.
bearing, then that's in the housing.
Correct. That's in, well, the bearing housing part.
Yeah.
Yes, if we had the end plates on there, they would be before the bearing seal, the bearing shaft. Yep. And
just my comment, fantastic, amazing.
sure.
Very
It
cool.
just,
What a hell of an insight.
oh, well, what we found, we had spent considerable money and developed some very, very, very nice magnetic bearings. Worked perfectly, but there was still some drag. And then lo and behold, I'll post in the comments section the name of the company because they deserve, anybody that uses bearings should use them. They're called air bearings. And the last few years, we've seen some tremendous developments. But we actually went up to Chicago to see this company. And what we witnessed was about 2 tons of weight on a shaft. And with your hand, you could just rotate this mass. And I was absolutely blown away. Plus how long it stayed in motion spinning. So air bearings. And they even have a fail-safe. If you lose your air pressure or supply of air, there's still enough that, it's not going to grind to a halt, metal-to-metal contact. But now with air bearings, you have virtually friction-free movement. So that has really been a game changer for us just by switching out from no roller bearings, no ceramic, no magnetic bearings, just air bearings. And zero wear. It's just an amazing. They showed us one where they had, I believe it was a 16-inch. I think it was 16-inch diameter shaft for industrial applications. I suppose they could even use them on ships. They're that large with incredible weight on them. And these things were still free spinning. So air bearings, I'm a #1 advocate of air bearings.
Fantastic. Yeah, I had at one time been involved with 10,000 horsepower motors that used oil bearings.
Sure.
Yeah. So basically it's fluid, so it works the same with air.
Sure.
But Frank, I got the link, the video link that you gave me on the Z-Power technology detailed demonstration.
Sure.
Do you want me to put that up on the screen now so you can explain that one? Okay.
I'll give them a plug to the best of my ability.
Okay, this is my prototype. It weighs about 2 1/4 pounds.
Yep. Okay. Sure. Nice and light. Not
Okay.
bad. Yeah.
Now this is my plates. Here, you see these plates?
Uh-huh.
You see here? Now I'll
Yes.
show you the plates. These are my spares, and this is, first of all, just to show the power of this thing. Now this battery, well, you're a battery man, so
Yeah.
you know how heavy these things are. This
do.
weighs 36 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I put it on the charger this morning, and I brought it up to, it's full charge. You'll see it come up to full charge. And I don't know if you're familiar with lights very well. This is a helicopter light.
Okay.
Okay. Now, now this one here is 12 volt, 800 watts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty heavy. Now, what I did was I took I burned out the 12 volt bulb, and all I had was a 24.
Okay.
So I put a 24 in there instead.
Okay.
This thing like it. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay, now let's get where's my editor? Should be well up there by now. I'll keep it on with you.
13.3.
Yeah, so it's full charge. Okay.
Yeah.
Now. Okay. Yeah, 13.
Yep.
13. Okay. So we're all right. Now this light is actually supposed to work on either. It'll also work on 12. If I put my reducer on here, it'll work on 12 too, but just not as bright.
Right. Understood.
Okay. And I will put it on the battery. Now that's 36 pounds of power there.
Right.
The light won't light up.
Okay.
It won't. Not enough amperage.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to my good old system here now. Now the plates, these plates are not activated because they're not plugged in. You see, this system right here is a frequency generator.
Okay.
I generate 5 different frequencies.
Yeah.
This is the code right here, which I keep covered up.
Okay.
Okay, I can scramble the code. I have different ways of keeping my security here.
Sure.
Okay, but now when I'm not sending any signal, now that's a solid gold 24 karat wire.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. There's no signal going to the plates.
All right.
So we can go directly back here off of this comes directly off the plates here. You can see. Just take it over. Nothing.
Okay, you want me to
Yeah.
hold
okay.
it up for?
Yeah, well, let's
Okay.
put it here now.
Sure.
Now What do you got?
Yep.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, now let's start sending those 5 frequencies to the board.
Okay.
They alternate at different time cycles.
Okay.
As soon as I activate the plates, we free the electrons.
We're starting to get some voltage.
Right.
Yep. Okay.
Now, here's the thing that's different.
Okay.
This, explaining this, the easiest way for a person that's not, you don't have knowledge, of course you know, but people without knowledge, I say it's like AC, DC. DC, you have to have real heavy wire. AC, you can have real small wires. It's the alternating current.
Okay.
Well, this here is, it acts like DC and it acts like AC.
Yeah.
It's not either one. So now you see, now, but look at it, it's fluctuating from low 16s to the high 18s. It'll go up to 18 eventually. And go 16, 18, okay.
Okay.
Now, let's plug it in. Now we couldn't run it off the battery, but we run it off of this.
Yep.
And look at the weight compared. Now,
Oh, yeah.
is there any knowledge that you have of any battery in the world that can run this light and weigh only a couple pounds? And remember, most of it's the case and stuff too.
Yep.
There is no such battery. If there was, my friend, you'd be manufacturing them, selling them to Tesla, and making a lot of money.
Yeah.
16 minutes now. Okay, so let's unplug it for just a little bit here. Let's check it. But I can run a great big truck battery down in 5 minutes with this light. Same. It hasn't lost a single bit because it's not using it up. It's completely replicating itself constantly. See now, like we can let it run for hours and it's still going to be the same. It's not going to change.
Okay, so then if it doesn't change, and if you were to still use this light, and the light doesn't overheat, because...
Well, feel it. It's,
okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's warm, but not hot.
No, yeah,
But now if we put this on the car and let the engine sit there and run for an hour, that thing, you can see smoke coming off of it. That's how hot it gets.
Okay.
So it gets really hot. So that's the difference. We've got a new kind of electricity here.
So...
And it's almost, well, it's 43 minutes already.
Is it possible for us to take the light out and to just, go around?
You don't want to look directly into it.
Yeah.
Because it will damage out your eyes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's... Okay.
The only way you can look at this is close your eyelids. Close your eyelids and then look directly into it and you'll see. You'll see how bright it is.
Okay.
Now there's a lot more that goes to this light. There's a big box that goes on here with a set of capacitors and stuff in it. There's some, what do they call it? It's emergency shut-off, stuff like that. Yeah. But all that I took off of it. I just use the light only.
Right. Okay. And it's all just coming out here. I mean, I know I would really like to be able to see.
Do you want me to continue? Oh, that's all.
That was plenty, and I can address some input and some questions too. So basically, we went down to see Z-Power several months ago, and a lot of what I do as president of a company or CEO or now vice president, don't ask about the step down. It was for various other reasons. I've kind of taken up the sales position instead of leading the company. So we saw Z-Power. And trust me, and all of you listeners, if there's somebody that has gone out and checked and kicked the tires on people that claim to have free energy, I'm the guy. And I would say 99 out of 100 are inaccurate. They're full of doo-doo. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in the free energy community. Z-Power is the only company or the only product that I've seen that actually qualifies as free energy. There is no doubt. I'm an aerospace engineer. I know what I'm looking for, and that is totally unplugged. It is pulling energy directly from the vacuum. Let me qualify what the vacuum is. So as we all know, if you have a cylinder sealed and it's in a vacuum, as soon as you unplug it, air, in this case, in our atmosphere, rushes in. Well, Tesla said it over and over and over, and don't quote me exactly, but to paraphrase Tesla, there is energy everywhere and anywhere present. That may actually be the quote. But what Tesla realized is there's energy all around us, everywhere. If you think static electricity, the traditional academic definition would be that you've rubbed something and you get a spark. Well, that's because there's energy everywhere. The sun is emitting energy. There is energy in space. There's energy. This planet constantly is producing electrical energy. Tesla, believe it or not, this is true, also said that the day that we understand exactly what electricity is will be the greatest event in human history. And he's right. I'm sure most of your listeners will have heard the name of Tom Bearden, Colonel Tom Bearden. He's written brilliant articles and books on energy from the vacuum. Einstein tried to get rid of the vacuum, the ether. He tried to negate it in his equations. Tesla and Einstein seriously butted heads, and both respected individuals in every right. Einstein was searching for a way to eliminate the ether. Tesla adopted it because the ether, or call it the vacuum in our modern terminology, is energy everywhere present. So what Z-Power has done in a very brilliant way is take Tesla's radiant energy receiver patent, which I saw Paul Townley chiming in on comments before. It's a beautiful patent and it works. I've built it, except you need an extremely large space, i.e. area, to achieve anything usable. What Z-Power has done through their brilliance, Dr. Schwartz is the inventor, is take that basic foundation of Tesla's radiant energy patent and put it into a small suitcase-sized box. So they can draw the energy that is freely available from the vacuum in a very small footprint. It can be scaled. And as I said when I first started this, it's something that, in my opinion, my professional opinion, is the only free energy device that I have ever personally witnessed. So I think that's pretty cool. Very cool. I think I just lost everybody.
We hear you.
Yeah, I 100%. Our association with them is not altruistic or anything. We're trying to do it from a business standpoint to gain further funding to commercialization. I witnessed a demo unit, which you saw in that video, which I think is brilliant. As we all know, too, in this field, the one reason that Pyrogen or previous versions of my companies have survived is we've never claimed free energy. We've never claimed over unity. We just found a better mousetrap so we can get an extremely efficient product, i.e. the Tesla turbine, but it is by no means free energy. In the Pyrogen version of it, we are technically freely providing electricity because we're using waste as our fuel source. It's not free energy. It's not over unity. We just have freely available energy from a waste product. In the Z-Power, just to specify exactly what that is truly free energy. So it's electricity directly from the vacuum. I think it's brilliant.
I got a question for you, if that's okay.
Certainly.
Sure.
Okay, I was wondering have you done any experiments with high vacuum yet with the Tesla turbine?
The Tesla turbine will operate extremely efficiently. I know one of your previous presenters, Paul Townley, has done a lot of work with that. What we've seen is upon initial mode of operation that a strong vacuum is present on what would be the exhaust side of the turbine. So is there a way to get it to operate in a vacuum continuously? That would be the next, as far as a mechanical engineering standpoint, that would be the next thing, because always in this entire, let's say, internet community of people striving to build something better, you always have to very carefully cross that boundary of, does it make economical sense? i.e., is it economically feasible? How much useful energy could you get out of it? Now, we know that there is a finite, quantifiable amount of vacuum that we can draw, the theoretical maximum. Would a Tesla turbine operate to any degree to give you a high efficiency in that, i.e. self-sustain? We've tried it. Our own personal results are no, it doesn't. The pump is an amazing invention from Tesla. We've used it extensively to pump ridiculous amounts of fluids to ridiculous pressures. We've drawn vacuum to the theoretical maximum. And of course, we have a very efficient, 86% efficient Tesla turbine. Would it make any economical sense to combine, let's say, a vacuum pump on the exit, the exhaust of a Tesla turbine? As far as we know right now, it just doesn't make economic sense to do it. We don't gain that much mechanical advantage, 1% or 2%. So now when you weigh in the cost of the raw cost of a Tesla turbine and the raw cost of a Tesla pump, i.e. acting as the vacuum pump, right now it just adds more cost to the unit that isn't economically feasible to recuperate, if that answers the question.
Frank, Paul is here, Paul Townley.
Hey!
Yeah.
Where's our boy?
Paul, are you muted or do you want me to unmute you?
He's hiding.
Right, so there are questions in the chat room.
Sure.
Pontus, do you want to, Fresh, do you want to take over the Q&A here by getting the questions asked, either personally or read out?
I was going to hand it over to Paul if you wanted to chat here for a moment, and I'll go take a look what's in the chat room and ask questions from there. But Paul, if you would like to chime in, you're more than welcome right now.
Okay, I think Toby has got more questions for Frank.
Oh, sure. Well, fire away.
And Helmut Estes has got some too. So is Jeremiah. Just unmute yourself and speak up, folks.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I can hear you.
Ah, right, okay, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, hi Frank, how you doing?
There he is. How are you?
Yeah, it's a bit crazy out there.
The corona beastie we don't even want to get into on what's behind it. We will get all the conspiracy nuts just like wearing metal hats.
Oh yeah, it's a playground for the conspiracy theorists at the minute.
It sure is.
Okay, well, one of the questions I'd like to ask you is, have you ever built Tesla's pulse detonation engine?
No, we haven't. Very familiar with it. Again, and as Paul and I have had numerous text conversations and a couple of conversations directly too. I'm thrilled to see anyone getting into the Tesla turbine or the Tesla pump because it only really vindicates and honors Nikola Tesla, obviously. Where we have to stand, let's say as a company, is doesn't make financial sense to do anything with it. The pulse detonation engine, basically a rapid pulse combustor, is brilliant because, as we all know, to get fuel into anything, you need something to deliver it under pressure. Sure.
Yeah, so if you use LPG, obviously you don't need to give that a pressure. And when you open a bottle of LPG, what's happening inside the bottle?
Oh, the gas is rapidly expanding. To answer your question, right, more
boiling.
Specifically, right.
It's boiling, isn't it?
Yes. Well, we'll post the links to it. Our combustor is compressorless. So when we take the liquid propane, natural gas, a combustible, we've tried gasoline and diesel to moderate, but I'll be quite candid, not to the level where we want to put that out in commercial use. It will work, but not to the level of efficiency we want. So with, let's say, propane or natural gas, well, you have the issue of now you need to combust it, but you still need it to have velocity and pressure to drive the Tesla turbine. So we came up with a way, basically by using vacuum. You were really astute with that. So we ignite the gas, and now through a specially designed geometric form, a flow form really, we have a way that once that shock wave of the explosion hits, that a strong vacuum is created on the backside, and it accelerates it into the turbine. So no compressor, i.e. any, a jet engine, let's say for an example, needs a compression stage. We don't need that. So we still have all the pressure and the velocity that we need to accelerate into the turbine. Now, in our case, we've always used water injection. Even back over 20 years ago, that's just a no-brainer. So we achieve a flame front that is as hot as we need it. In hydrogen case, we have a 3,400 degree flame front. In propane, we have about 12 to 1,400 degree. And then through pressurized nozzles, we inject water. And then what's really driving the turbine? Steam. And since we're not looking for dry, high temp steam, we're perfectly fine at accepting steam from anywhere from 325 to 285, give or take there, as the motive fluid.
The Tesla bonds discussed turbine, you can make water at room temperature coil under vacuum. The viscosity of the cold steam.
Sure. I think, if I understand, if we pulled a strong vacuum on the exhaust of the Tesla turbine, and incoming fluid, water, would come to boil. Now, where we haven't done, through our own research or testing, is we've never gotten that to a point where we could make it commercially feasible. I think I lost everybody.
Well,
Okay.
we're having some technical difficulties.
Well,
Uh,
we
I
got
can.
quickly because
Can I
we
make?
next session coming up. Okay. So
Sure.
got to move fast. Not you, Frank.
That's okay.
The Q&A session. I mean, the guy.
We love you, Crystal.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. The Q&A. I mean, there are a few questions, a number of questions that are lined up. So, co-chair for us, would you want to read out those?
One of the questions that I found quite interesting was on the initial spin up, do you run through a sonic boom through the device? Are you breaking sound barriers at any time?
Yes. Initially, for about a decade, we kept everything subsonic, below the speed of sound. And for anybody that's doing their own, in their garage or whatever, these are not dangerous units. There's a built-in, call it a safety factor, that Tesla knew, that we found out through trial and error. But even if you had a catastrophic failure of the discs, like you'll see a lot of videos on YouTube where they say, they use CD-ROMs and they shatter apart at high velocity. Well, where is it going to go? It really acts like a disc brake, and it stops the momentum fast. The unit doesn't spin off the table. It just stops. We found, and this took really the advent of better SolidWorks computer software. So before we build anything, well, we've got a great tool with SolidWorks. We model it. Where almost everybody else has failed is they model, and what does software do? It's only as good as the information in. Well, we had, over a decade of real world performance figures. So when we put the numbers into SolidWorks, we knew exactly those numbers are right. So what comes out should be correct as well, which 99.9% of the time has been. So what we've achieved, okay, do you want me to come or? All right. Well, we're going mobile, guys, here, so hang on with me. This is fun. We're in Vail.
Yeah.
So to answer that question as simple as possible, yes, we have gone supersonic, and now the last dynamic tests were we are hitting the disc pack at an entrance speed, just around. Obviously, everything is different as it moves through the disc pack, but Mach 3.
One technical question that just came in that I found quite interesting without getting too out of line on this. On your discs, are there fins between the discs, or are they just holes? What's the drag on the disc? How does it just start up?
Oh, sure. To keep the disc separated, what we have are dimples. So the disc, when it's steel, we have a patented process to just dimple the disc. So think of it as a bump. In the beginning, there were through bolts, rivets, everything. And what we've done now, and particularly with the carbon fiber, the basalt disc pack, it's formed where it has a dimple. So think of it as a bump on, let's call it the left side of the disc, and the mating surface on the other side of the disc is flat. That separates all, that keeps the disc separated, and it also allows the disc to stretch. So there's going to be, as heat builds up, a minor, very minor amount of stretch in each disc, and this allows it to float. So the discs, yes, are separated by dimples, let's call it. Anyway, we hope that you. How was that?
Very good.
We're doing this tongue in cheek.
Yeah, there was a problem with the background noise that I'm catching.
Oh, sure.
So basically, your disc surfaces resemble a golf ball. For those people that don't quite understand what we're talking about,
sure.
The dimples gives the. That's
well. This will kind of be of little interest. So we all know of a vortex spiral, correct? So what we found out as we modeled it, it's in a phi spiral, PHI spiral. So at the, let's call it the circumference of the disc at 360 degrees, as we spiral in, that is exactly modeled to a phi spiral, a logarithmic spiral. And that's the positioning of the disc at different intervals. And it adds tremendous input or mechanical power to the rotation of that disc pack.
Yes, indeed. For those that are scratching your head, what are we talking about back and forth? On some of your water pumps, you will see a similar spiral on the impeller. It's not really good in water. The companies that are making it are sort of there, but they use that same shape to push water that he's talking about, where they're pushing the disc inside. Similar. Do we have another question in chat? Let me take a look real quick.
I got cut off.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
welcome.
Hi, Frank. I got cut off. I got kicked out of the meeting.
Please
But,
ask your question quickly, Paul, because we're going to close now, and we
Okay.
have the next session coming up.
Have you ever managed to make steam at 32 Fahrenheit?
That would be a no.
Okay.
Okay, so how about that Z-Power? You know, we're talking about a Tesla turbine when I'm thinking the Holy Grail's been discovered with a motionless electric generator a la Tom Bearden.
It's black box technology, though. No one would understand it.
Hey, correct. I agree with Paul on that, and I concur. The biggest problem, and I don't want to get into conspiracy theory, I really don't, but let's just say it's obvious. You've all heard since the 70s, probably before, that all inventions that mention the word free energy, the inventors usually, unfortunately, either stop or they're persuaded to not continue, or in some instances, they die. And it is just a sad fact of everything that we do. Free energy is very difficult to commercialize. And I say that with a little bit of remorse. It's just a fact. And again, not going into conspiracy theory, free energy devices, the powers to be don't want them released. Simple as that.
So that's why FESIG has this mission of open sourcing software devices, but some inventors don't agree with us. But that's the best way to stay safe as well. Yes, Frank?
I'm here. Oh, sure. It's a tough one. We've been in business in one form or another for well over 20 years, and we've been successful because we've never pushed that free energy. Do I think I could engineer something? Probably. Do I think I would have a commercial market for it? Almost definitely not. I've had close associates, I've had friends, I've had business partners that have cautioned against it. What I see is, I think that now, 2020 and beyond, may just be the time that all of us have waited for, where we can finally release a free, clean energy. And I think it would be of great economic advantage to the planet. We mentioned the name Colonel Tom Bearden. So I know Tom personally for many years. Tom had a device called the MEG, the Magnetic Energy Generator. And this device was incredible. He had an entire business model that made it kind of like DirecTV and Dish TV, where you got the box and it provided up to 20 kilowatts of power, but then you would pay kind of like a monthly subscription fee. And I think that's the way we'll see this unveiled in the future. You can't stop the box, but you also can't use the box unless you pay for it. That means that whoever controls the technology has given it away, but they still get paid. And those type of models don't threaten the powers to be, whether it's General Electric or any other provider. The box is useless without the codes, let's say, like DirecTV, and someone can still make money. And someone can't walk away with the technology. And I think we now have the ability to utilize that technology. So that's my best answer on how I see it unveiled.
Don't you say that Z-Power has done that?
Yes, they do have the box. Now, how do you get it commercialized? That's the next step.
And so basically that's the holy grail of the free energy movement.
Yeah.
Is what they've done.
It sure is. It sure is.
Has there been input power to output power ratio calculated or measured on the machine?
They're operating at 100% efficiency. So it's really just a function of size as I understand it. Now, I'm not affiliated with Z-Power. I just had witnessed it and verified it.
You know, because whatever it does excites the input, there are multiple frequencies apparently from what they're saying on the input to give an output that lights a light bulb. How much power is being put into run those frequencies to make the thing work?
Well, that's their holy grail, their non-disclosed ability there. Think in terms of vibration, frequency, and resonance. So every single thing, whether it's you, me, the moon, the stars, a tree, has a resonant frequency. When you match something, for the viewers that aren't quite sure on how, think of an opera singer breaking a glass. So as that frequency is matched, the glass vibrates, it shatters. So in terms of energy, if you match a frequency, it will amplify it. So resonancy, frequency, vibration, the energy is amplified. And it's really a function of that. It's actually a mathematical.
So if the efficiency is only 100%, it's
function.
not over unity. I mean, it's got to be 100.
Anything can be amplified to the point where it becomes usable. Think of electrons. So they're moving through a wire. Oh, sure, that's the over unity part. What are we talking about? Oh, but when we talk places like this, we're talking about an amplification that now becomes usable. And in Tesla's world, there was energy all around us. Now, how do you channel that is really what that device is doing.
I want to thank Frank and Toby, and I'm going to turn this back over to Crystal. Sorry to interrupt, but Crystal, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much, Fres. I'm back. Yeah. Complete today's meeting.
There's
I
6
know.
feet of snow in that parking lot.
Yes, Toby.
There should be 6 feet of snow in that parking lot.
No, a little bit, but not much.
Climate change.
Right. So, has all the important questions been answered, Co-Chair, Fres?
I was turning it over to you because we're running long on time, and let you wrap up with your closing FESIG information.
So,
thank you very much.
Since the Q&A has completed right now, and we have thanked the speaker partners, is that possible? So we can schedule perhaps the next meeting?
Oh, Certainly, Crystal.
On the
We'd be happy to come back again. Definitely.
Yeah.